We're going to be creating a breakfast bistro with some beautiful wicker chairs from an antique store. Lots of incrediball storm-proof hydrangeas interplanted with weigela and some cascading hydrangeas. But before we get started on planting, we need to tame the jungle that has taken over this part of the property. I started out by just removing some branches from my older summer wine 9-bark. I love this 9-bark, and that's one shrub that's definitely staying here in this new bistro area. I removed some spent foxglove from the garden, and I also pruned back the yellow twig dogwood. Eventually, we are going to completely remove this dogwood, but before I got my shovel out, which I actually broke later on in this video, I pulled out some remaining dahlias. These were supposed to be Penhill watermelon dahlias, but they turned out to be something else, so I didn't feel too bad about pulling them out. Now for the biggest job of the day, attempting to get this 8-year-old yellow twig dogwood out of the garden. I edited this section down to just a few seconds, but I think it took me a full 45 minutes to dig this shrub out of the garden. It was rooted in so well, and it did not want to come out. I definitely earned my Ben & Jerry's for the day, and maybe even a piece of chocolate cake pulling this shrub out of the ground. At some point during this garden renovation, I also broke my wheelbarrow, and I think it's probably right at this moment when I throw the yellow twig dogwood into the wheelbarrow. The tire is either completely deflated because it has a hole in it, or it's slashed and not fixable. I haven't taken a close enough look yet, but I'm still feeling motivated to get this project done. I'm so excited to create a place for my family to sit and enjoy their morning coffee. The look that I'm going for really here is an echo of the book nook. When you sit in this new bistro area, you're going to be looking at the garden library and at the book nook, and I'm going to be using very similar plants in this space. I decided to relocate the sprinter boxwood to the corner of the new bistro area. So each corner of this new space is punctuated with a sprinter boxwood ball, and I really like the way that looks. I picked up 16 irregular stones from Ken's Gardens. I paid $19.99 per stone, so that's a total cost of $320 for the hardscaping. I filled in around the large stones with gravel that I had on hand from the book nook, and I partially lined the area with some leftover bricks from the front yard garden renovation project. Now the fun part, planting lots of new hydrangeas. When I think about a garden or a home that's inspired by the Nancy Meyers aesthetic, I think of creams and greens and beiges. I think of a calm feel, rustic but homey at the same time. So I wanted to use stone, gravel, bricks, and wicker to really give that sense of the calm, cozy vibe that you get when watching a Nancy Meyers movie. Currently, we're planting 7 incrediball storm-proof hydrangeas. This is a compact version of incrediball. It grows 3 to 4.5 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. So these will eventually touch each other. Behind all of that and bordering my addition, I'm planting little lime punch hydrangeas. These will eventually get 3 to 5 feet tall and wide and be a beautiful backstory for those incrediball stormproof hydrangeas. I also added in some midnight sun weigelas for a little extra color, and then I spray painted some antique wicker chairs that I got for $130. So we're looking at a total cost for this garden of approximately $500 without the cost of the plants. Next, I lined the bistro area with irregular stones that I found around the property. This will help keep the mulch out of the bistro area and help keep the gravel in the bistro area. Next, I added in 4 fairytrail green hydrangeas. This is an irresistible new mophead cascade hydrangea with bright lime green blooms. Lastly, I added in a stone that my husband and I found in the front yard a few years back. It was buried in a pile of rubble, and we noticed that it said 1968 on it. So we're not sure exactly what that year means to the prior owner, but I wanted to honor them in this garden project by adding it in to our new bistro area. Now, before I show you the grand reveal, let's take a look back at what this area used to look like when we started this garden renovation a week ago. And now, let's take a look at what it looks like today. So what do you think, friends? Did we accomplish the Nancy Meyers aesthetic? I think we're getting close. Maybe we should add in some wicker pots with more cascading hydrangeas. Not only would that give us additional creamy white colors in an already neutral landscape, but it would also add some immediate height to this area as we wait for these baby hydrangeas to grow up over the next few years. I just loved spending this week with you out here in the garden. You know, it is hard work to rip out an existing area that's not really working, to lay down all new hardscaping, and to plant a lot of new things. But at the end of the day, I think it's completely worth the effort. That area had always been an embarrassment to me. I'd never liked it. And it was the garden that you saw when you immediately opened the gate. I was able to ignore it over the years, but since Better Homes and Gardens is coming here next year, I really need to whip all of these embarrassing areas into shape. I'll tell you more about this amazing opportunity in the next video. See you soon, friends. Bye.